Welcome. So in this video we will learn all about the AGMARK standards for butter and ghee. Now please note that full form of AGMARK is agricultural marking, agricultural marking, and agricultural mark is the exclusive property of Government of India. It is not a private mark, and its full form is agricultural marking. And we will cover the AGMARK standards for butter and ghee in this video. Now AGMARK stands for standards for AGMARK grading. That AGMARK stands from agricultural marking, and this is the AGMARK. We can see that this mark is the AGMARK. And why we require AGMARK? In order to have a systematic marketing of agricultural produce on the basis of well-defined quality, Indian legislature in 1937 passed an act known as Agricultural Produce Grading and Marking Act 1937. So in order to have the systematic marketing of agricultural produce on the basis of well-defined quality, Indian legislature, that these are the quality standards. So there are two types of standard. One is legal standard, other is the quality standard. Now legal are mandatory to be obeyed by the as per the law, that is, these are mandatory. Quality standards are the voluntary. So AGMARK standard is also voluntary, it is not mandatory. It is permissive in nature. It is one choice to go for AGMARK grading if one can meet their specification. So this is a quality standard, it is a voluntary standard, it is not mandatory. Whereas legal standards, like you are having FSSAI standards, these are legal, these are to be met as per the law. And quality standards, another example is BIS. BIS is also a quality standards. So in order to have a systematic marketing of agricultural produce on the basis of well-defined quality, Indian legislature in 1937 passed an act known as Agricultural Produce Grading and Marking Act 1937. The act is not mandatory, as I have told. It is voluntary. It is permissive in nature, voluntary in nature. It is one choice to go for AGMARK grading if one can meet their specification. अगर कोई AGMARK की स्पेसिफिकेशन को, AGMARK की प्री रिक्विजिट्स को, रिक्वायरमेंट्स को मीट कर पाता है, तो ये उसकी चॉइस है फूड बिजनेस ऑपरेटर की कि वो AGMARK ग्रेडिंग के लिए जा सकता है. Now the rules under this act are called as General Grading and Marking Rules 1937 when it came, the act came, and then the rules have been revised in 1988 and then called as General Grading and Marking Rules 1988, and recently in July 24 again it has been revised. So these are now called as General Grading and Marking Rules 2024. Okay, so these we will cover the General Grading and Marking Rules 2024 in today's video. Now grading of agricultural items under these rules is known as AGMARK grading or AGMARK certification. So AGMARK is grading the product which is covered by it with different grades like special, general, standard, good, fair, poor. Likewise, it will grade the different product depending on the quality, and how it is grading, that we will see in the coming video. So grading of agricultural items under this rule is called as AGMARK grading or AGMARK certification. Now AGMARK is the exclusive property of Government of India, and it is not a private trademark. It is the property of Government of India. Now who is the authority of AGMARK? It is the Directorate of Marketing and Inspection, that is DMI, is the authority on the AGMARK, whose headquarter is now at Faridabad and branch headquarter is at Nagpur. And it is the DMI only which enforces the Agricultural Produce Act 1937. यानी कि डायरेक्टर ऑफ मार्केटिंग एंड इंस्पेक्शन जो है अथॉरिटी है AGMARK की, इसका हेडक्वार्टर फरीदाबाद में है और ब्रांच हेडक्वार्टर जो है नागपुर में है, और वो DMI है जो कि सारे जो ये एक्ट है उसको एनफोर्स करने में रिस्पॉन्सिबल है, एनफोर्स करता है एग्रीकल्चर प्रोड्यूस एक्ट 1937. नाउ अंडर द एग्रीकल्चर प्रोड्यूस एक्ट 1937 great standards are given for agriculture and allied commodities. So at present 224 commodities are covered by AGMARK, and some of the commodities, major commodities include cereals, oilseeds, oils, creamery, butter, ghee, legumes, eggs. So these are the commodities which are covered by AGMARK, and recently till date 224 commodities are covered by AGMARK. Now, agriculture commodities are categorized into various grades such as special, good, fair, ordinary, extra, depending on the degree of quality. So these are the quality standards, and depending on the degree of quality, the commodities are classified as special, good, fair, ordinary in each case. Now these grades are known as AGMARK standards, and this way of categorizing or grading the agricultural products in terms of their chemical composition or quality is known as AGMARK grading. So depending in terms of we are categorizing the different products as special, good, fair, ordinary based on the chemical composition and also the quality, and this is known as the AGMARK grading. This way of categorizing or grading the agricultural products in terms of their chemical composition and quality is called as AGMARK grading. Now, if somebody asks you under which department and under which ministry the AGMARK comes, so it comes under the Department of Agriculture, Cooperation and Farmers Welfare under Ministry of Agricultural and Farmers Welfare. So it comes under the Ministry of Agricultural and Farmer Welfare, and then FSA comes under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Now there are 24 different commodities which are covered under AGMARK, and the central AGMARK laboratory is in Nagpur. सेंट्रल लेबोरेटरी जो है वो आपकी जो AGMARK लेबोरेटरी है वो नागपुर में है, और देर आर रीजनल AGMARK लेबोरेटरीज आल्सो इन 11 नोडल सिटीज, नेमली मुंबई, न्यू दिल्ली, चेन्नई, कोलकाता, कानपुर, कोच्चि, गुंटूर, अमृतसर, जयपुर, राजकोट, भोपाल. So if a field staff of DMI is collecting a sample from the market, then the sample will be sent for testing to the nearest AGMARK lab, like Mumbai, which will be the nearest one where the sample is collected, and the sample will be sent for the testing. Now there are 4 major objectives of AGMARK scheme. So first is to assure the consumers a product of pre-tested quality and purity. So to assure the consumers a product of pre-tested, कंज्यूमर को ये भरोसा दिलाना कि जो प्रोडक्ट ले रहा है वो प्री-टेस्टेड क्वालिटी का है और प्योर है, ये इसका एक पहला ऑब्जेक्टिव है. सेकंड क्या है, टू एनेबल द प्रोड्यूसर ऑफ गुड क्वालिटी प्रोडक्ट्स टू हैव बेटर रिटर्न्स. जो प्रोड्यूसर क्वालिटी प्रोडक्ट्स बना रहा है उसको रिटर्न्स अच्छे मिले. टू हैव ए सेल ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट इन द मार्केट विद यूनिफॉर्म कंपोजिशन एंड वेल डिफाइंड क्वालिटी. जो प्रोडक्ट मार्केट में सेल हो रहा है वो यूनिफॉर्म कंपोजिशन का हो और वेल डिफाइंड क्वालिटी का हो. एंड कोई भी माल प्रैक्टिस अडल्ट्रेशन की प्रोडक्ट को मूवमेंट होने से, कहाँ से, प्रोड्यूसर से लेकर कंज्यूमर में कोई भी प्रोडक्ट अगर मूव कर रहा है तो बीच में अडल्ट्रेशन ना हो, ये भी इंश्योर करता है आपका AGMARK. सो ये आपके 4 ऑब्जेक्टिव्स हैं AGMARK स्पीक के. आई एम रिपीटिंग दैट फर्स्ट इज टू अश्योर द कंज्यूमर्स ए प्रोडक्ट ऑफ प्री टेस्टेड क्वालिटी एंड प्योरिटी, एंड सेकंड इज टू एनेबल द producer of good quality products to have better returns, and third is to have a sale of the product in the market with a uniform composition and well defined quality, and fourth is to eliminate the malpractice of adulteration in the movement of the product from producer to consumer. So as told earlier, among dairy products only ghee and creamery butter, that is table butter or salted butter, are graded under AGMARK. That desi or cooking water is not graded. So makhan is not graded by AGMARK. So it is only the ghee and creamery butter among dairy products that are being graded by AGMARK. Now first we will see the AGMARK standards for B. Now grading of creamery butter, table butter or salted butter under AGMARK. There is no AGMARK standard for desi butter, as I have told, or cooking or unsalted or white butter. And grading of butter is started in 1944, and the rules are called as Creamery Butter Grading and Marking Rules 1941. So the grading of butter started in the year 1941, and the relevant rules were called as Creamery Butter Grading and Marking Rules 1941. Now creamery butter under AGMARK is graded for pasteurized table butter. So we will see now there are general characteristics are there, special characteristics are there, and grade designation. The specification for butter under AGMARK include, so first is grade designation, that is it is for pasteurized table butter. The AGMARK standard is for pasteurized table butter. Then specific characteristic which it has to meet is that it shall be made from pasteurized cream and the phosphatase test shall be negative. That this is the special characteristic which the butter has to fulfill, that is that it shall be made from pasteurized cream and the whose phosphatase test shall be negative. Now what are the 10 general characteristics that are to be fulfilled, that are the requirements? That first is general, that shall be made from cream obtained from the milk of cows or buffaloes, or both, with or without addition of clean dairy salts. So clean dairy salts should not be more than 3% as per FSI, and the butter shall contain no other preservative. So other previously it was BHA which was allowed in butter and ghee, but now it is not allowed. So butter shall not contain any of the preservative, and then salt if present should not be more than 3% as per FSI. Now if you see flavor and aroma, that it shall be flavor shall be clean, pleasant, free from rancidity, and no extraneous flavor except diacetyl shall be added at a level not more than 4 ppm, and if it is added, it shall be indicated in capital letters on packet contains added flavor diacetyl. It should be written on the packet that it contains added flavor diacetyl, and otherwise no extraneous flavor except diacetyl is permitted as per AGMARK. Now third point is of butter and texture. It shall be firm at 15 degrees Celsius and be neither greasy nor oily. Firm at 15 degrees Celsius and be neither greasy nor oily. Now if it comes to color, the color shall be uniform without any colored spots or signs of curd particles. That color should be uniform. There should not be colored spots should be there, or curd particles are visible. That should not happen. Only annatto or carotene may be used as coloring matter. Okay, so annatto comes from Bixa oralina and carotene comes from the carrot. So Bixa oralina is a plant and carotene comes from the carrot. It shall be indicated in capital letters on packet that it contains permitted color annatto carotene. Okay, now moisture content should not be 16% uniformly distributed in the body. So I have told you that salt content should not be more than 3% and moisture content should be not more than 16%. So if somebody asks you that what is the permitted level or the percentage of the salt in moisture droplets of butter, so salt maximum 3 is allowed and then maximum 16 is the moisture. So 16 plus 3, that is equal to 3 by 19 into 100, because we have to calculating in percentage, so that will be equal to 15.78%. that is the answer. So this is the maximum 15.78% salt is allowed or is permitted in the moisture droplets of the butter. So this is the calculation, that is 15.78%. Now if you see acidity, it should not be more than 0.15% lactic acid by weight. Acidity should not be more than 0.15%. Now IPC milk fat content, it should not be less than 80%. Curd content should not be more than 1.5%. And 9 point is of purity, that physicochemical constants of fat obtained from butter shall resemble with the physicochemical constants prescribed for ghee for that area. Okay, so all the physicochemical constants which are there, so now it is all over India, so that area can be ignored. That is for all over India. The whatever physical constants of ghee are there, that are specified by AGMARK, that also to be followed from the fat extracted from the butter. So but physicochemical constant, you have seen that iodine value is there, sonification value is there, BR reading is there, and the other physicochemical constant which are mentioned in the AGMARK, that we will see in the coming slide also. Now product shall be free from other animal fats, vegetable oils or fats, mineral oils, wax or any other extraneous substances or impurities. तो प्रोडक्ट के अंदर कोई shall be free from animal fats, vegetable oils, fats, mineral oils, wax or any other extraneous substances or impurities. So these are the 10 general characteristics. One is the special characteristics I have seen, and grade designation is for the pasteurized table butter. So 10 general characteristics are to be followed, and you must remember them also. there should not be extraneous matter or impurities. Adulteration should not be there. That is the 10th point. Now coming to the AGMARK standards for ghee. AGMARK standards for ghee. Now as I have already told that grading of ghee under AGMARK was started in 1937. The relevant rules were then called as ghee grading and marking rules 1937, and now recently these rules have been revised in July 2024, and so now it is called as that the rules are called as general ghee grading and marking rules 2024, that we will cover today. Now there are 3 grades of ghee are specified as per AGMARK. That is, one is special grade, that is given red label, general grade, that is given green label, and standard grade, that is given the chocolate label. And these grades differ mainly in the terms of free fatty acid composition, that we'll see. Now the specification of general grade ghee under AGMARK are equivalent to or identical to that specified for ghee under FSSAI standard. So जो FSSAI स्टैंडर्ड्स घी के हैं वो मैच करते हैं जनरल ग्रेड के स्टैंडर्ड से जो कि AGMARK ने दिए हुए हैं. तो स्पेसिफिकेशन ऑफ जनरल ग्रेड घी अंडर AGMARK आर इक्विवेलेंट और आइडेंटिकल टू दैट specified for ghee under FSSAI standard. Now these are the overall the standards as per the general grading and marking rules 2024, the grade designation and the quality of ghee. Now first point is that there are 6 requirements by the AGMARK for the ghee to fulfill. That one is that ghee shall be manufactured from milk or milk products like butter or cream or combination by means of a process which results in total removal of fat and milk as enough contact. So there is a 99.5% fat is there, that there happens total removal of water and milk salt fat. Now what is the minimum requirement? That ghee shall be clarified milk fat and clear and transparent at 40 degrees Celsius. It should have natural, pleasant odor and agreeable taste. It should be free from rancidity, obnoxious smell, turbidity, suspended or insoluble matter or any other foreign matter. It shall be free from separated water, sedimentations, adding coloring matter or any other flavoring substances. It should be also free from synthetic oil or fat, mineral oil or animal fat. That is, there should not be any adulteration. So these are the minimum requirements. Now, if the ghee is meant for the domestic trade, then it shall comply with the restrictions in the regard to the residual levels of metal contaminants, pesticide residues, crop contaminants, natural occurring toxic substances, and other food safety requirements as specified under the regulations made under the FSSAI 2006. So if it is meant for the domestic grade, then the residual levels of the metal contaminants, pesticide residue, crop contaminants, natural occurring toxic substances, or other food safety requirements that have been specified by FSSAI 2006 should also be complied. That is for domestic grade. Now if it is meant for the export trade, then it will comply the residual limits of the heavy metals, pesticides, or other food safety requirements as laid down by the CSC, that is Codex Alimentarius Commission, or the importing countries they also are having their standards, so that requirement also to be fulfilled. That is mean to say that domestic grade is there, then the requirements of the FSSAI to be meant for the heavy metals, pesticides, and food other safety requirements. And if the purpose is for that is meant for export trade, then the requirements of the CSC, that is Codex Alimentarius Commission, and the country to which is exported, their regulations, as per their regulation, the requirements should be fulfilled. Now if you see the criteria for general designation, that I have told you that they have graded it as 3: special, standard, and general. If you see moisture content special and standard is 0.3, and then general it is 0.5. Of course the moisture content is related to the shelf life of the product. Higher means that lower shelf life. Then milk fat content minimum 19.9.7, it here in standard 99.7, and for FSSAI it is 99.5, that is meeting the general grade also, that is general grade, that it is minimum 1995. A BR reading, if you look at 40 to 43, 40 to 43, here 40 to 44. And then RM value say minimum 24, minimum 24, minimum 24. Plus value 1 to 2, 1 to 2, and in general FSSAI that is 0.5 to 2, And if we see free fatty acid, that is as special in special grade it should be maximum 1%, standard 1.5, general it is 2%, and then Bowden test should be negative, that is for vanaspati should not be there, negative. Iodine value is ranging from 25 to 38, 25 to 38, 25 to 38, and then sponification value should range from 205 to 35, 205 to 35, 205 to 235, and then beta cytosol as determined from HPLC, that is should be absent. Now if you see the major differences in these three grades of ghee is on the basis of free fatty acid. That is in special grade it should not have more than 1%, in special in standard grade it should not more than 1.5%, in general grade it should not be more than 2%. So these are the standards. Now the fourth requirement is special condition. Ghee may be additionally declared as cow or buffalo ghee if it is manufactured from the milk fat or butter or cream or derived from the cow milk or buffalo milk respectively. Now for this purpose authorized packer shall maintain proper record of milk procurement so that it should be traceable. So if you it additionally to be declared as cow or buffalo ghee if it is manufactured from the milk fat or butter or cream that is derived from the cow milk or buffalo milk, and then for this purpose the authorized packer shall maintain proper record for the milk procurement. Now the ghee covered under these rules shall also comply with the fatty acid composition as per the FSSR 2011. So fatty acid composition standard which is there as per FSSR 2011, that also to be fulfilled in order to have ghee to be given ghee to be packed as under the AGMARK label. Now some additional requirements are also there, that the packing condition of the ghee shall be such that to enable to withstand transport and handling, it should able to withstand transport and handling, to arrive in satisfactory condition at the place of destination. So packing condition of ghee shall be such as to enable it to withstand transport and handling, and also to arrive in satisfactory condition at place of destination. Ghee shall be stored in a cool and dry place away from the direct heat and sunlight, and properly maintained in clean and hygienic condition. Now ghee shall also be stored in a cool and dry place away from direct heat and sunlight, properly maintained in a cool and clean and hygienic condition. These two are the additional requirements. So there are 6 requirements to be fulfilled by ghee to be marketed under the grading, under the label of the AGMARK. Now question comes that if I am a food business authority and I want to use the AGMARK labels on my product, on say ghee and butter, then how I will proceed, how I can have the authority to use AGMARK labels on my products. Now first is that if I am food business, the interested parties who wish to get authority to use AGMARK labels have to apply to the agricultural marketing advisor through state marketing officer to Government of India at Director of Marketing and Inspection, whose headquarters is Faridabad, branch headquarters is Nagpur. So I have to first apply. He has to apply. So food business operator is there, that he has to, whosoever interested parties who want to have authority of to use AGMARK label on their products, then these parties shall apply that to the agricultural marketing advisor through state marketing officer to Government of India at Directorate of Marketing and Inspection, whose headquarters is Faridabad, branch headquarters is at Nagpur. Now there are certain prerequisites there that has to be fulfilled by the interested parties in order to get the authority to use AGMARK labels. So what are those prerequisites? That they should have well equipped hygienic site, and hygienic equipment should be there with them. They should have well equipped lab. The laboratories should also be fully equipped for the analysis of ghee for the prescribed parameters. So all the parameters which have been specified by AGMARK, whatever reagents are required, chemicals are required, glasswares are required, that should also be there in the lab. Now the process of manufacture shall be such as to retain the essential characteristics of ghee. For example, the temperature should not be as more at higher than say 120 to 120 degrees Celsius, otherwise it can lose, that it may change the color or may cause the loss of fat soluble vitamins. So mean to say that process of manufacture shall be such as to retain the essential characteristics of ghee. Now authorized packer shall maintain proper record of analytical reports of milk, fat and ghee. So milk, if it is to be from milk, cream is separated, butter is prepared, and then ghee is prepared, then analytical reports of milk will also be kept and maintained. And then milk fat and ghee, that proper records should be maintained for the milk fat and ghee. The reports should be there, so that in future if some complaint comes, then it can be handled, or some mismatch is there, then by on analysis of the sample at nearby regional lab, then the reports can be traced and compared. Now they should have qualified staff like butter makers having 5 years experience or possessing a certificate of proficiency from a recognized agricultural or dairy institute. Similarly, a chemist with degree in dairying is required. Now if butter maker is there, that he should have 5-year experience and or should possess a certificate of proficiency from a recognized agricultural or dairy institute. Now authorized packer and approved chemist shall observe all the instructions, take all the instructions that are there regarding testing, grading, packing, marking, sealing, maintenance of records, which may be issued from time to time under the provision of the act. So observation should be there for all these the instructions that have been given by the that are given under the provisions of the act. So observation should observe testing also, grading also, packing also, marking also, sealing and maintenance of records. Okay, now packers of pasteurized table butter should have pasteurizing plant. Obviously it is required, and cold storage facility for the storage of butter at -18°C. Now cream separating station, if separate, that also should be hygienic. Cream separating station is there, that also should be hygienic. Now there should be provision of adequate water supply, drainage system and power so as to operate the, or so as to carry out the basic unit operations. The adequate water supply, drainage system, power should be provided. They should have quality control checks on cream and raw materials so as to ensure that no adulteration with animal or vegetable fat take place. So quality control checks on creams and raw materials should be there, that so that the adulteration in ghee of any vegetable or animal body fat should not take place. Now packing container should be clean and rust free. Obviously it is the requirement. Then no vegetable fat, animal body fat, no artificial flavoring or coloring should be seen near the factory and the creaming station. So nearby premises in the factory or in the creaming spiriting station, they must not even be seen. Adulteration is far point. They must not be seen even in the premises of the butter or ghee manufacturer station. So no vegetable fat, animal body fat or artificial flavoring or coloring matter should be seen near the factory or the creaming space separating station. Now they should also send one sample of butter ghee to the regional AGMARK lab or any other lab specified at regular intervals as advised by the AMA. Regularly they have to send one sample of butter ghee to the regional AGMARK also. Now all instructions from the AMA will have to be followed strictly. For example, method of sampling, whatever given, how much sample to be taken, method of sealing that has been given, marking of tins or cartons, maintenance of records, labeling procedure, everything that has been given by AMA, the agriculture marketing advisor should be followed. Now there are also up to date record of labels to be kept. Labels to indicate clearly the designation for pasteurized, whether it is pasteurized, special or general grade. Serial number should be there of the label. Container should indicate the name of the packer, batch numbers, date of the packing, net weight, certificate of authorization number, nutritional information, net quantity, maximum retail price, expiry or use by date, etc. So these are the requirement for the container on the labels of the container, that what all to be there, what all to be indicated on the packet of the container, that these are the requirements given under the act, under the rules, that name of the packer should be there, batch number, date of packing, net weight, certificate of authorization number, nutritional information, net quantity, maximum retail price, expiry or use by date, that these all should be mentioned on the label of the packing container. Now if the parties concerned can afford, then they write to AMA through state marketing officer at DMI to Government of India, whose headquarters is at Faridabad, and branch headquarters is at Nagpur. Then AMA or his authorized person will inspect the premises and see whether the facilities, technical staff, all the requirements are being all the prerequisites are being met or not. Now if they are satisfied, then AMA issues the necessary certificate of authority to use AGMARK labels, and the certificate of authorization is renewed periodically. That generally its validity is 5 years, and on the basis of the past performance of the authorized packer, that if the performance is good, then only the certificate of authorization will be renewed, otherwise not. Now how the AGMARK scheme operates in case of butter and ghee. Now once the authority to use AGMARK label for butter ghee is obtained, then usually the AGMARK people employ their chemist in the factory. So earlier the AGMARK people are employing their chemist in the factory, but now any lab person will be given training by the AGMARK, and then that person of the industry itself can act as the AGMARK chemist in the lab. Now all the operations right from the stage of manufacturing to the product of manufacturing the product to the stage of packing and sealing are done under the supervision of AGMARK chemist. So all the operations right from the stage of manufacturing the product to the stage of packing and sealing are done under the supervision of AGMARK chemist. Now usually the butter ghee are manufactured in the factory itself, but it may happen that kacha raw ghee is brought to the factory by middlemen or agents or producers. Then the AGMARK chemist draws sample of that raw or kacha ghee, analyzes for BR reading, free fatty acid, bowden test, RM, rescue value, that is all the parameters that is given under the AGMARK standards for ghee, for its satisfaction about its purity before its further processing, and then if the criteria is met, then only it will be further processed. Now after the manufacturing of every batch of butter or ghee, but before the packing and sealing, the product is tested for purity and quality again by the AGMARK chemist as per the AGMARK standards of the concerned product that will be changed. So after processing before packing and sealing, after the manufacture, again the AGMARK chemist will test the product for purity and quality. Now AGMARK chemist draw 2 samples of butter. For in case of butter, 2 samples to be drawn. One is analyzed, second is sent to the regional AGMARK lab as specified by AMA. Now similarly in case of ghee, he draws 3 samples. One is analyzed, second sent to the central control lab at Nagpur as per AMA, and third is given to the manufacturer for the use. Now once the AGMARK chemist is satisfied with the analysis with regard to the specifications fixed under the AGMARK, then only labels are issued and fixed, otherwise it is different. After only the satisfaction of the AGMARK chemist, it is that the labels of grades, that different labels are issued and fixed, otherwise it is denied. Now fixing of labels is done by special adhesive in such a manner that once fixed cannot be removed without damage. That labels should be fixed by special adhesive, that if it is in such a manner that if it is one fixed, then without tampering it cannot be removed. Now in case the AGMARK chemist is not employed, then the authorized packer get his product tested at the approved state grading laboratory. After the ghee and butter are packed, sealed in clean cartons, sold in the market, the field staff of DMI can collect the check samples from the market when the products are on sale in the market. That is, anytime the field staff of DMI can visit the market and can collect the sample, and he will send it to the nearest regional AGMARK lab for its testing, and the results will be compared with the original that are being kept at the industry or the food, or with the food business operator. Now if results agree, then all right, but if results do not agree, then appropriate action is taken, so the product is withdrawn from the market and the authority to use AGMARK label is cancelled. If the results agree, then it is all right, but if the results do not agree, then appropriate action is taken, that is either the product will be withdrawn from the market, or authority to use AGMARK label is cancelled, or sometimes it can be also downgraded also. That is, say if it is special grade ghee is there and it is only meeting the standards of general grade, then downgrading from special to general can also be done. Okay, so this is all about the AGMARK standards for butter and ghee. Thank you.